various questionable war activity overseas, and now this just despicable kind of touching, patting down in the name of civil liberties.
Well, what about federal grants for DWI? I'm sorry to interrupt, but what about federal grants? Here in Austin, they have federal grants for warrantless checkpoints where cops in the dead of night take your blood, and it's federal. What is the federal government doing funding local police to be scurrying around like Nosferatu?
Right, and the amazing thing is with a what, a $3+ trillion budget and the innumerable line items on that, Alex, that go down to every state, every county, and municipality, we've got to have, a consortium of freedom fighters, yourself, other good folks, Liberty Guard, and the other good groups, and everyday Americans saying, we'd rather not get involved. None of us really want to kind of get involved because we've got other things maybe we'd like to do, like enjoy freedom. But every generation, or really now, every century, Americans have to stand up in unison, lock arms, and say, we are here to defend this country, and we are here to defend our constitutional civil liberties, and we're here to tell the politicians there's a limit. Yeah, now it's come to putting us in radiation chambers and sticking their hands down our pants. And just a month ago when I was telling people about this, they didn't believe me, and TSA came out and said, yeah, we stick our hands down your pants. Briefly, Bob Barr, your chairman, what's his view on this? Ron Paul said that he got groped. Jesse Ventura said he got groped on the genitals here. You said similar things have happened to you. What about... I went through the process, and, demeaning is not the word to describe it. I believe our chairman, Bob Barr, has been through it. And clearly Bob Barr has been, in so many ways, a champion of civil liberties and privacy rights. And I know this particular issue really sticks in his claw, understandably. Well, stay there. Tell us about that after the break. Joe Seehusen is our guest. He's the president and CEO of Liberty Guard, ladies and gentlemen. The website's libertyguard.org. And if you're watching us on prisonplanet.tv, not just listening on the radio, we're going to put it up on screen as we go to break. That's libertyguard.org. Our site's infowars.com and prisonplanet.com. Stay with us. Final segment with our guest. Straight ahead. Stay with us. You know what happens to the brown shirts if the real tyranny takes over? It'll be Night of the Long Knives, and not at our hands, but at the hands of Big Brother. Well, I tell you, humans just repeat history. Joe Seehusen is just a great guy. I should add that he was the National Deputy Campaign Director, so the #3 guy in Ron Paul's presidential run in 2008. I should also add that he was the former national director of the Libertarian Party, and now he's the president and CEO of Liberty Guard, and the chairman of that is Congressman Bob Barr, and he's going to twist Bob Barr's arm and try to get him on with us in the next few weeks. We talked so much during the break, Joe, I think we may have forgotten. What was it, the story you were telling? Oh, yeah, it was Bob Barr's view and position, and you said he was particularly outraged on the groping. Well, absolutely, and Congressman Barr has been a champion of civil liberties and the Constitution, and has that background, has been fighting that fight for a long time, and just watching this steady decline in our civil liberties. And I think when he saw this and saw the demeaning component of it, and the questionable constitutional nature of it, and the questionable efficacy of it, he just said, "Hey, we've got to do this here at libertyguard.org." And we all said absolutely, and that's really the impetus of it is his leadership on that one, and saying, hey, we got to understand everyday Americans are going to draw a line, and the line is you can't do this to us, you can't do this to our kids, you can't do this to our nuns and our parents. You've got to effectively protect America, protect our skies, and protect our transportation, but you don't do that by being the American people. You don't do that by being ineffective, and you certainly can't not obey our constitutional mandates.
Well, I mean, if the federal government can have really untrained people just running around doing whatever they want, and saying that they're above the law and shouting at people and screaming opt out, the sky's the limit, Joe.
Well, and that's certainly a concern. And again, when people do join the Opt-out Alliance, when they sign up and get that card of what we believe that our research has shown are the legitimate options that a person could take, we want to make sure they understand that that's an individual decision, and it may be an uncomfortable one for them. They may miss their flight. They may go through more procedures and more questions, face, if you will, the kind of thoughtless, really intimidation of the TSA agents that may not know their boundaries. But it's one of those things where people who believe this is an important statement to make, and many have done it already, are going to do it and question it. And we're doing it in a thoughtful way. We're asking basic questions. Is this constitutional? Is this effective? And my gosh, can't we protect our nation from terrorists without demeaning everyday Americans? I think those are some pretty fundamental questions.
Well, and even more than that, Joe, in closing, I saw a NBC article 2 weeks ago where they admit that every week hundreds and overall thousands every year of boats land in San Diego with illegal aliens from all over the world that go to Mexico to then be brought into the U.S., and there's no Border Patrol, no police, no TSA. It came out in ABC News, illegal aliens can literally go in and rent aircraft, and TSA just gives them waivers. Fox News reported, and it was confirmed they hired illegal aliens to build part of the show fence. I mean, the government could care less about our so-called security. 28,000 dead in the last 2 years on the Mexico-U.S. border. And that's more than the Vietnam War every year. I mean, this is insane. Your final comment on that? Well, part of this is, again, this scope creep that you mentioned, where these bureaucracies have big budgets. They have people who are, questionably not fully trained, not fully conversant with the laws, potentially. And they basically kind of begin to, make up the laws kind of on the spot, again, intentionally or unintentionally. And that's where a lot of the danger comes in. And I think challenging them, challenging what they're doing, challenging their budget.
Visit Infowars.com and PrisonPlanet.com. When you're on the site, you can also tune in 24 hours a day to my daily radio broadcast. There's also a free iPhone app to listen to the syndicated radio show when and where you want.